Good morning, friends. Welcome back. I know I look a fright. I just woke up, sent my husband off to work, and I wanted to share a dream that I had. And I wanted to share it with you before I forget it, or before the day goes on and I forget parts of it. I wanted to share it with you. Normally when I have a dream that I feel means something, I might share it on Facebook, and not in a video, but just, type it out. But I feel like I wanted to share this with all of you too, because it's not something little. Or what's happening in the world right now with the coronavirus, it involves the entire world. So I didn't want to share it with just my group of friends on Facebook that know me, but I wanted to share it with all of you too. So in this dream, we were in quarantine, like we are now. And I don't usually dream about things that are happening in the world like that. But anyway, we were in quarantine, but it was much tighter restrictions than it is right now. It was like in the future. I guess, I'm not sure. But we were in quarantine, much tighter restrictions, and there was literally nobody out. Nobody was allowed out of their homes at all. I think people were designated times where they could go, like grocery shopping, or go somewhere. Nobody was going to work. There was nobody on the streets. My husband and I had decided to drive upriver and check on somebody. And we were literally the only vehicle on the road. But you could hear like plane or helicopters or something. And the government was doing aerial checks of everything. And that's how they were keeping track of things, I think. But they, like from the air, they would section off areas in communities, and periodically the army or police or I don't know, groups of men would come and take everybody in that area somewhere. I don't know where. They would just kind of round them up and take them somewhere in those sectioned off areas. Because my husband and I were driving upriver. And I want to mention the road because it was so significant to me. I remember details about the road. I know that sounds really strange, but in my dream, we do live next to the river, and we lived next to the river in my dream. And driving upriver, the river's on your right side. But in my dream, it was like a cliff, like literally a drop off. And the road was very narrow. And the river was down in the bottom of this cliff. The road itself, I remember leaning forward in our vehicle, leaning forward to look at the road better. The road looked just like the river. And it somehow had looked like clear water with moving water with fish, and I don't know how to explain it. It looked just like the river. So, my husband even said, "Wow, look at that." And when he was saying, "Wow, look at the road," he was starting to kind of veer off. And I kind of, jumped, and I was like, no, kind of jumped forward a little bit. Stay on the road, stay on the road. It's hard to see where the road is. It was like an illusion to where you could drive off that cliff very, very easy. We're driving up the river, and we stopped at somebody's house to check on this person, and nobody was there. And everything was like they had just been there. There was food cooking on the stove. There were plates with food on the table, hot food, like with steam coming off of them, but nobody was anywhere. And then we kind of walked around looking for them, and there were the army or police or whoever they were. And they were rounding everybody up. So apparently, and we told that they were trying to tell us, get in this vehicle, and we were trying to tell them, we're not from this section. We live downriver. We just came up to check on this person. And they said it didn't matter. We were in that section when everyone was being taken, so we had to be taken too. And it was scary. It was dark outside, not dark like nighttime, but dark like a really rainy, gloomy day, dark. And it was muddy and wet. I live in Washington State, so it's commonly like that. So, but it was muddy. People were crying. They were being loaded up into, it looked like vans, but bigger vans, and people were crying. Some people were slipping in the mud, and they were being yelled at by the police or the army or whoever these people were. They were all dressed in green like army, and they were being forced in. These people, the army or whoever they weren't being nice about it. They weren't trying to help anybody understand why they were being taken. They weren't explaining anything. They weren't being nice. They were being kind of how you would imagine if you joined the army in boot camp, and they kind of yell at them and kind of shout orders at them. That's kind of how they were treating the people being loaded up. And I remember stepping over boxes. People were allowed to take like a box of stuff or like a bag of stuff of their belongings. And I remember seeing one of the army people step on somebody's bag, and it was like got everything muddy because his boots were muddy, and he kind of laughed about it. And just, I guess it was just kind of like he had no regard for the people or their belongings. We were being loaded up and taken, and not knowing where we were going. We weren't told where we were going. And it seems like my husband and I were being separated too. I don't remember exactly that part. This is why I wanted to tell you about it first thing in the morning, and before I had a chance to shower or get dressed or anything, or look presentable with like makeup. I knew that I would parts of it would start to fade and I would forget. But it was just it was very scary, felt unreal, but yet it was happening. A part of me felt like I was telling myself, you're gonna be okay. This is your government. They'll take care of you. They're looking out for us. They're doing what's best for us. But inside, I knew that that wasn't true. I had a feeling that it was something really bad. Something bad was going to happen. And I was scared. Looking back on it, the part that stands out to me the most is the road. Because I took such time looking at the road, leaning forward in the vehicle so I could try to look past the hood to see the road. And my first thought after waking up and thinking about this dream was, We're all on a road, or, road of life. The road itself was an illusion. The road itself was a lie that looked just like the truth. The truth was the river. But the road was a lie. But it looked just like the truth. So it kind of made me think of in the Bible where it says that in those days that even the very elect might be deceived. We need to look at everything and really look at it. And don't just take everything at face value. We have to really look to see, because the lie can sometimes look just like the truth. I'm sure that you guys would have plenty of ideas. If any of you are good at interpreting dreams, I'd love to hear your take on what my dream meant, if anything. Maybe it was just some weird dream. I don't know. But yeah, it was just so strange. I don't have dreams like that. Usually my dreams are stuff like baking or rearranging furniture, or like normal day-to-day life type stuff. My dreams aren't ever weird like this. So occasionally I'll have a dream that I feel like it means something, and I do feel like this dream means something. I'm just not sure what yet. So I'm gonna pray about it. I know I have not been on here very often. I just have no motivation. I have no motivation. I just feel like I'm hard pressed to do my dishes and do my laundry right now, to be honest. I feel really depressed. I feel really, and I don't feel like that very often. So I had asked on one of my favorite Dollar Tree Facebook pages, I had asked if anybody else was feeling unmotivated, and within just a couple of hours there was over 350 responses that yes, an overwhelming yes. Lots of people are feeling unmotivated, just depressed. Anyway, I hope you guys have a great day. I hope you have an amazing weekend, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye-bye.